So that's an interesting thing. What constitutes a culture of architecture? As it were, a kind of critical mass, that produces a culture of architecture. And how do you cultivate that? It's an interesting question. I don't know. Slightly magical. The English situation is very flat. There are, of course, as always, talented people, but there's not a cultural force alive. With more than that come together. Unlike Ireland. Unlike Dublin, where there is this, at this moment anyway, this very strong, collective presence of and culture of architecture. You can't find that in London or any British town today, and you can't find it really in New York or in San Francisco or across the whole expanse of the United States. Not today, I don't think. There is a certain amount of sleepwalking, I would say, unduly aestheticized sleepwalking that goes on, between England and the United States, going out to the West Coast also. But, China, I think young Chinese architects right now, and also young Chinese students, I'm very impressed by their intelligence and their openness and their doubts also. China is developing. This landscape architect, Conjian Yu, extraordinarily, amazing refinement and an amazing sense of he understands what is the historical situation of the city and of China today, and is able to develop a discourse about it, and to have an influence. To influence it, It's true that India has a longer modern tradition from 1947 onwards. This generation that rose at that time, Doshi, Korea, Rajraval, and the younger generation can build off them. There was one leading Bangladeshi architect, Musra al-Islam, and he produced people like many of the people that are in this room today, not just one generation, Qazi Ashraf and then also Kasef Chowdhury, etc. And there is a rising architecture in Bangladesh, which is extremely sensitive and really quite remarkable. Sometimes retardation, produces a flowering afterwards. In Spain, after Franco, for example, there was an incredible culture of architecture arose after the end of Franquismo, And the same in Portugal, actually, after the so-called Portuguese Spring of 674. And in Dublin, perhaps it's also a phenomenon of a certain economic well-being and a sense of somehow a national identity, architectural culture as part of a national identity. Those things also, I think, are important. Okay, good. Nice questions.